Hi, this is Ken 1171, and today I want to show you a new script I have created to do a very particular task in Poser, which is to extract content you have installed in your runtime, or content that already came with your runtime. Either ways, I made a new script that can extract and create an installer for whatever content you have in your runtime. For example, let's see here, this is the default runtime when you install Poser 12, and it comes with LaHome, LaFemme, and HiveWire 3D. Let's say, for example, here on HiveWire 3D, Dawn Clothing, I want to create an installer for the bikini for some reason. Or maybe you are a content creator and you have created a new content, you want to make an installer from it, and your content is merged into the main runtime. It's kind of a pain in the neck to extract content from Poser, so I made a script to make that easier. If you come down here, that's the Runtime Scavenger. Here it is. The way this works is you have categories here on the top for the kinds of contents you want to include in your distribution. For those who don't know, the distro is short for distribution. Whenever you buy something from a store, you receive a zip file, and that zip file contains a runtime, and you install that in your computer to have access to the content in your runtime. This script creates runtimes, but instead of getting it from a store, you can extract it from contents you already have in your runtime. Let's see, for example, here in the characters or figures category, I have the string bikini here. I'm going to drag it over the drop area here. When I drop it, it tells me, okay, I have added the character libraries part for this content. And let's see, I go now to the materials, and here under HiveWire Dawn, I have the materials for the string bikini. Let's drag this here. It has confirmed them. It has added the materials. You can see here which categories are included. And then I have to choose a location where to save this. You only have to do this once. Once you do it, it remembers what it was. I have chosen this folder here called testing 123, and I have navigated to where it is here. So when I create the distribution, you have to wait a bit. Here it is. It created a zip file. By default, it calls it the distro runtime and then 3 digits random number so that it doesn't get overwritten. If you open this file, you'll see that it has included the geometry, the library, including character and materials, which are the categories you have chosen here. And it should contain clothing, the string bikini. Here it is. That's the only thing it contains. And from the materials, the same thing. It contains only the materials for the bikini. Awesome. And it included any geometries and textures that these files from the library refer to. Mind you, it's not going to include all the geometries from the product. It's going to only include the geometries and textures that the files you have chosen have a reference to, the ones that they use. If there are other geometries and textures, unless the content you are adding, you actually use them, it's not going to be included, which is a good thing. All right, so it has created a runtime here. It's a good idea to rename this file when you have it, so next time you look at it, you know what it is. So this is the bikini. All right, we have another mode here called build distro runtime. The first one we saw was to create a zip file. It's called the build zip distro. And if you choose the other one, the distro runtime, first of all, let's reset the script. There I have a button just for that. You just click it and it resets everything. You're ready to start another session. And this time I'm going to create a distro runtime. What does it do? Instead of creating a zip file, it just creates the folder structure without zipping it. Let's give it a try. This time I'm going to go back to the figures here, and instead of adding just that one, I want to add all this. So I go to the parent folder, get the folder where everything is, and drag it here. It has included the character part and everything that's under it. Now I go to the materials and do the same thing. This time I'm going to add the Dawn. Here it is. So I have included all her clothing and all the materials. But this time I'm not going to create a zip file. I'm going to create just a folder structure. Let's create a distro and see what it does. This time I have included much more contents, so it took a little longer. But you see here, it didn't create a zip, it created a runtime. If we expand this, you'll see it has included only materials and characters, just like you have chosen there. But this time I have included the parent folder, which means everything that was there. Let me show you here. All these folders here under clothing, here they are now included in your distribution. So the clothing and in the materials, the same thing. Everything that was inside the Dawn folder has been included in your runtime distribution. Here it is, same thing that's there. In addition to that, it has collected all the textures and all the geometries, but again, not everything that belongs to the figure, only geometries and textures that the files you have chosen have a reference for, which again is a good thing. So those are the two modes you have. But let's say I wanted to create both of them instead of just one. For some reason, I wanted to do that. Let me delete those I have created now. And let me reset. And again, I'm going to add just a bikini. Let me go here to the bikini. Edit for characters and materials. Here it is. But now I want to create both the zip file and the runtime distribution. So I go back to the zip distribution, and you'll notice here at the bottom, it has showed a new option called keep runtime after zip. If I enable this, it's disabled by default, it's going to create both at the same time. So with the same selection as before from the bikini, create a new distro. I want you to take a look here. What happens is it has created the folder structure and the zip file. And of course, they contain the same contents. It's just a zip version of the folder structure. But just wanted to show you that if you wanted to create both, you can, and this is how you do it. You choose the zip file and you choose to keep the runtime folder after zipping it. One more thing I wanted to show you here is that sometimes the contents you are trying to extract from the runtime, they may have issues. For example, I think the jewelry, the earrings and the necklace for La Femme, for example, let me reset. I'm on the figures folder now, and I'm going, okay, let me delete those things I have done before. And I'm going to drag the whole thing, which includes the jewelry, the earrings, and the necklace. And if I try to create distribution for this, you'll see here the drop area has turned red, and it shows me an error message saying that simple necklace PMD, which is referenced by simple necklace CRZ, is a broken link, meaning that it looked at where the file points to, but the file is not there. So in case that happens, you have broken links, for example, in this case here, this error message tells you exactly in what file. It's this one here, the one is referring to, has a PMD link that doesn't exist. It's pointing to a location or file that either one of them doesn't exist, and this is what it's looking for. So you can use this message here to find and locate what's broken, go there and fix it. Next time you try, it's going to work. All right, so mind you, extracting doesn't mean it's going to delete anything in your runtime. It's just going to create a copy of it in a runtime zip file or folder structure, whichever you choose. So one more thing I want to show you is that, as usual with my scripts, you have a help button here, and if you click it, it opens the PDF menu where you can get answers to any other question you may have. And that's what I wanted to show you. Thanks for watching.